Morning and welcome to the Core Connection. I'm Mira Rubin here with you on Enlightened World Network. And today's topic is recharging. What kinds of things, what kinds of practices do we have that enable us to nourish and nurture ourselves when we're feeling depleted and need some more energy? So looking forward to hearing what kinds of strategies you guys have for reinvigorating yourselves. And before we get started, let's take a minute or two to get present. So let's take a deep breath in through your nose and hold it. And imagine clean, crisp oxygen flooding your lungs, flowing into your bloodstream, nourishing all your cells and your organs, and bringing vital life energy throughout your body and being. And as you exhale any tension, stress, negativity, fatigue. And now let's take another deep breath in through your nose and hold it. And this time, imagine brilliant, bright light lighting you up from the inside out, illuminating, electrifying, energizing all your cells, your molecules, your electrons, and creating this brilliant beam of light from your heart out into the world. And as you exhale any remaining tension, stress, negativity, fatigue. And now let's just gently press our palms together and very, very softly rub your fingers against your palms to feel the deliciousness of that sensation and the tickling and the tingling, and allow those sensations to bring you present right here, right now, and enjoying this physical form through which we get to experience life. So welcome, welcome, welcome. It's a new week, and good morning, Rosalind. So good to have you here with us. And welcome to everyone else who's joining us. And today we're going to talk about strategies for recharging and re-energizing. And why is that coming about? Because I've been feeling a bit depleted myself, and have been playing around with things that will renew my energy and revitalize. So I'm wondering, do you have any particular strategies that you use if you're feeling depleted? I think the first thing is to come to a place of awareness about being depleted. Because I think a lot of times, I don't know about you, but I have had a tendency in the past to push and push and push, and to the point where I push myself over an edge where I'm just gone. And so recognizing where you're depleted, or where you're becoming depleted, and taking early action as a preemptive measure can be a really powerful thing to do. And I think culturally we're kind of indoctrinated to believe that that rest and relaxation is a luxury rather than a necessity. And so maybe we get to give ourselves permission. Maybe we get to shift the paradigm a bit to enable ourselves to do what we need to do to properly care for our well-being. Because when we push past our limits, the recovery time is exponentially greater than if we had honored the need for some R&R on the way there. So that's maybe number one, is recognizing when we're starting to feel depleted and not ignoring it. Like there is not glory in pushing past and pushing through that. There's at least I don't believe so. I know that there's a lot of regard for endurance, and at the same time, as with everything, it's a balance. We to grow and expand, we get to push the limits, but there are times when you can push the limits so extremely that they break, or you break, and we don't want to get to that point. So calibrating to our being, to our bodies, to our capacities. I'm all for growth and expansion of consciousness and capability. And if you push too hard at the gym, you can injure yourself, and then you're out of commission for who knows how long. So we're always doing this dance of how much can I push myself without doing damage. So there's that, the awareness. And I do think that that's a pretty major thing, because I think that so many of us get caught up in all the obligations and responsibilities and doing that we become doing machines, and we're not really paying attention to the machine maintenance along the way. So awareness is probably a number one. And then when you have the awareness, the question is, what kinds of things support us in creating in being able to recharge? So one of the things that works for me, when I indulge myself, see, there's that word, indulge, when I respect myself enough to do it, is chakra alignment. So we have these energy centers that are part of our body and being, and when we put our attention on the different energy centers, from the root chakra to the second chakra and the third chakra, solar plexus, and the heart and the throat and third eye and crown. When we put our attention on those different energy centers and bring light into them and align them in the center of our body, in the center axis of our body, and maybe even notice if what's happening with spin, and just sort of breathe into those places, those energy centers, then that brings our energy back into alignment. Even just whether you believe in that or not, focusing our breath in specific areas of our body brings us into a greater alignment and allows for an easier flow of energy. So Rosalind says, recharging for me looks like conscious breathing. I use guided meditation sometimes. They make me fall asleep. So if you do your guided meditation sitting up, I don't know if you're intending to fall asleep. Maybe you are. Sometimes I use meditations to help me go to sleep as well. But if you want to stay awake during your meditations, sitting up is a really good thing. And conscious breathing is really what we're talking about by focusing our attention on breathing vitality and life and light into our bodies, and even just concentrating on the breath can help regulate our physiology in such a way that we get more energized, where we get more alignment of energy. And actually, sometimes when you do that, you might feel even more exhausted potentially, because you might have been so wired and so disconnected from your body that you didn't even notice how overtaxed you were. And then when you connect, when you do the breathing, you're allowing your body to feel itself more, and you might even feel more exhausted. And that's a signal to rest, right? Not push through all the time. I think the whole notion that we're so acclimated to pushing, do more, faster, better, right? All the time. And sometimes stepping back and stopping is the best thing that we could do, and maybe is ultimately even more supportive of the productivity that we want to have. If we get to a point where we're just empty, how do you function with that? I mean, like, how much of a result can we create? So I have a friend who has been running on adrenaline for a long time and no sleep, and finally ended up with COVID and has been kind of leveled for a couple weeks. They're okay. The person's okay and recovering, but it's taken a long time to recover because their system was already pretty depleted. So deep breathing, chakra alignment, meditation. Good morning, Gia. So good to have you here with us this morning. We're talking about recharging and what kinds of things we do to recharge. And I think that when we look at recharging, it's not just a physical experience, like our physiology is very linked to our emotions as well. So when we're exhausted, our emotions go into a low ebb, right? We can, like, depression is not just an emotional experience. It's a physiological experience, and it can go from one way to the other, where we can have emotion triggering physiology, and we can have physiology triggering emotion as well. So when we're looking at recharging, we can go at it from both directions, right? So one of the things that we can do when there is a need for emotional recharging is to focus on those things that enliven us, or that nurture and nourish us. So for instance, when we need emotional recharging, and I know you guys know this, but it's always good to have a reminder to be looking at and allowing yourself to really deeply experience the things that you're grateful for. The aspects of life that you are grateful for, and to bring forward this sense of appreciation, to presence yourself to it physically, because there's a physical aspect of it. It's very different from listing off the things you're grateful for. I remember I had made a commitment to do gratitudes every day for a period of time, and I would just write, I'm grateful for this, I'm grateful for that, I'm grateful for this, but I didn't connect to it. And writing that list does very little unless you allow yourself to really truly embody that appreciation. And when we embody appreciation, that in and of itself recharges us. Like, as I'm presencing myself here with you this morning, to just really appreciate how wonderful it is to have this opportunity to spend time with you. There is an energy that moves with that into my body and being that is enlivening. So Gia says, I've been commenting on your live show, but now I get that only if we added from Enlightened World Network channel, only you can see our comments, not otherwise. There are always two different notifications Facebook gives, and I wait till I get notification from EWN because only then you can see us. Gia, thank you so much for that, because I know that there are people that comment that don't get responded to, and I feel badly that anybody should feel neglected. It's certainly not my intention. So where I see your comments from, I'm using Restream. So this broadcast is going out to multiple channels. It's going to YouTube. It's going to, sometimes it goes to a place on LinkedIn. Sometimes it goes to a couple places on Facebook. And if you comment anywhere other than the Enlightened World Network Facebook page, I don't get to see the comments. So I apologize for that. And Gia, I appreciate that you clarified that for everybody. So if your comments aren't being seen, go to Facebook on Enlightened World Network, look for Enlightened World Network. And that's the page where you can respond to the live stream and your comments will be seen. And then we get to talk. So thank you for that. So anyway, we're talking about recharging and how we can be generative in our experience. Now, here's the thing: when we're depleted, we often don't want to expend the energy or put the attention and apply the effort to shift out of that state, right? It takes a deliberate intention. And so if we can muster the intention, then we can source within ourselves the thing that will be uplifting to us. So when we can connect to love and appreciation and gratitude, that truly it has with it a physiological state that is more energized than exhaustion, for example. So that's another way that we can recharge, and to just find ourselves ruminating about all the things that bring us joy. You know, for me, beauty is revitalizing. So if I give myself the space and gift of putting my attention on beauty and wonder, that's also recharges. It also recharges me. It's revitalizing and energizing. And so that's emotional, where we can shift our physiology by generating a shift of emotion. We know that we can also shift physiology by change of thought, which is similar to the shift of emotion. But I think that the emotion is what powers the actual shift. So when we put our attention, our thoughts on things that we're looking forward to or things that we enjoy, you know, another way to recharge is to give yourself creative expression, because it allows you to focus the energy. Now, you might be too depleted to do anything, in which case sleep is a really good thing. You know, sleep is something that a lot of us deprive ourselves of. And if you have the ability to sleep, to rest and recharge, do it. Do it. And if you have problems sleeping, meditation or focused breath, focused attention all of that can also be helpful. So for instance, when you're doing something creative, that is a focused attention. It is meditative. And when you allow yourself to get into a place of physiological alignment, what's happening is that the energy is flowing more easily, right? And when the energy is flowing more easily, then we have access to it more easily. So, that's making me think about energy and how we regulate our own energy. I know a lot of people spend a lot of time self-regulating. What I mean by that is self-censoring, being on high alert about doing the right thing, saying the right thing, looking the right way, trying to exert this control, like it's a constant vigilance, which is extremely energy consumptive, and what it's coming from is a lack of self-trust, a lack of or a fear of the environment, fear of the reaction and judgment of others, fear of harm, doing or saying the wrong thing, embarrassment, and putting our attention all the time on, containing ourselves all the time is exhausting. It's exhausting, and it's also a denial of life, denial of self. And so maybe finding ways to express ourselves. Again, when you're depleted, it's not the easiest thing to get yourself to turn on some music and dance. And again, it's that tightrope, it's that balance that we get to look at. I'm talking about, the balance between pushing and not pushing. It might be a good thing. You get to calibrate for yourself. It might be a good thing to turn on some music and get up and dance. That can be really energizing. It's shifting, truly shifting the energy and allowing that energy to flow in a way that it wouldn't be flowing if you're just slumped in a chair, right? So it's interesting to imagine that expending energy can generate energy as well. So we're kind of like these magic energy machines, right? Where we can regulate it in all different ways. And so giving ourselves the push to get up and dance can maybe move us into that place of greater energy, for example. What else? What other kinds of practices are recharging, allow you to recharge? I think that when we move into presence, and it all comes back to presence all the time, it seems, right? When we move into presence and experiencing what's there to experience. So even if we're allowing ourselves to be present to the depletion without story or judgment, that's the tricky part, right? Because we'll judge ourselves for being too tired. We'll judge ourselves for not getting enough done. We'll try, just we're human judging machines a lot. But if we allow ourselves to just be in the experience of the experience, then that shifts the energy of it as well. Oftentimes what happens when we're really tired or depleted is we resist it, try to make it into something else, and that makes us even more depleted. So if we can just feel into it, allow ourselves to be present in our bodies, then oftentimes that experience can shift. Like the exhaustion can naturally dissipate if we stop resisting it. So that's an interesting way to recharge as well. Good morning, Dennis. Happy MLK Day, everybody. We get to be looking at freedom. And thank you for that reminder, Dennis. Yes, we get to be looking at freedom and having our voice, right? Martin Luther King spoke out and was not afraid to dream a new world into being. And we get to do that collectively. And we get to do it daily, not just on MLK Day, right? So it's a wonderful reminder to allow ourselves to have and express our vision, and to be willing to stand for freedom and for equality and for social justice and for environmental stewardship and all of that. So Dido says, hi Dido, welcome, welcome. It's great to have you here this morning. Dido says, I've noticed that working till exhaustion is almost a badge of honor in this culture. Exactly. And it's freaking insane. And Dido says, but now I think of working like interval training or intermittent fasting. It energizes to stop and stand and do something else. Yes, it does. It absolutely does. So Dido, you have such a good point. First of all, about the badge of honor of pushing ourselves beyond our limits, which is insanity, right? And then on the other side, working like interval training is brilliant, where we do stints of it. Like our lives do not have to be about work. If we're loving our work, that's wonderful and we can engage in it, but we don't need to be, we're a nation of workaholics, I think. And there's all kinds of moral points that we get for working ourselves to the bone, and it's just insanity. So I love what you said. Oh, to restart. Okay, so it energizes to stop and restart, to do something else. Thank you, Dido. I appreciate that. But for sure, we have become a nation of workaholics, and we get identity and value and merit from that. And I think we get to focus on quality of life a bit more and make work something that serves our lives, not our lives something that's serving work. And so Rosalind says, Terry mentioned you'll be hosting some of the daily meditations. Yes, I will. So I'm excited about that. In fact, let me just see, I'll do a little plug for a daily meditation that I'm going to be hosting. Let me see if I can find the info. I will be hosting, let me just see, because I want to see if I have her last name. I don't know if I do. Okay, so on Saturday at 5 p.m. Eastern time, I will be hosting Kalina, her daily meditation, or her meditation on the meditation a day schedule. So that's exciting. I haven't done that for a while. I'm looking forward to it. And thank you for bringing that up, Rosalind. And I thank Terry for bringing it up as well. So we can be cross-promoting here. Oh, you're so sweet. Thank you, Dido. Dido says, thank you so much for stepping up for us at EWN. Kalina Malnar. I did not know her last name. Thank you for her last name, Dido. Kalina Malnar is who I'll be hosting. And so shameless plug, if you can join us on Saturday at 5 p.m. Eastern time, I'm sure you'll be in for a treat with Kalina. So I think that's it for this morning. I hope that you can re-energize, recharge, vitalize, nourish, nurture, and energize, all of that good stuff. And that's it for this morning. I'm Mira Rubin. This is the Core Connection. And I go live with you each weekday morning at 9 a.m. Eastern on the Enlightened World Network Facebook page. So if you're seeing this on a different Facebook page, please, if you want to comment and join the conversation, make sure you go to the Facebook page for Enlightened World Network. And that point was shared with us by Gia this morning. So just a reminder, I love this engagement with you and so appreciate it. And I invite you to share this out with folks. If you're enjoying this conversation, please share it out. You know, the broader our community, the richer the conversation will be. So I just want you to know how much I appreciate you. And please, please, hi, Sue. It's so good to have you here with us this morning too. So everybody, I just want you to know that Sue and Dido are the behind the scenes heroes of Enlightened World Network, making all the cogs turn, getting everything organized, integrating. Of course, they have help, but they are the behind the scenes maestros that are orchestrating the wondrousness that we all get to experience on Enlightened World Network. So a big thank you and huge acknowledgement for Sue and Dido, without whom we would not have these wonderful, wonderful engagements with one another. So much, much, much appreciation for all you do and for how much more you have stepped up, even beyond the magic that you did before, stepped up now that Dr. Ruth Anderson is putting her life back together after the fire that destroyed her home in Colorado. And I'm wondering, Dido and Sue, is the fundraiser still available for Ruth? And can we post a link for that for folks that want to help support Dr. Ruth Anderson and her family? She's given so much to so many of us. If we could share that out, that would be amazing. I'm going to rely on one of you guys to find that link and post it in the chat if you would. There is a fundraiser. I think it's probably still active, I hope. And whatever we can contribute is deeply, deeply appreciated. So anyway, that's it for today. I so appreciate you and appreciate our time together. And I look forward to seeing you here again really soon.